going on, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games. Today, we're going to talk about negativity. All right, so does negativity actually matter? Is it meaningful in what we do and what we care about? Now, first thing is, there's a lot of negativity everywhere, right? So if you look over at the video game world, the arguments over loot boxes and pay to win and developers becoming shitty and shittier, delivering poor games that are not finished up front and charging you for the full price, right? There's a lot of that. And then if you look over at TV shows, Ring of Power and all the MCU stuff, right? There's a lot of negativity that's going on around the world. And Magic, we're not escaping from that either. But the thing that I want to talk about is whether that negativity, all these things that we bring up actually matter at all. Or is it just something that's kind of fun? He said, she said, we kind of throw things around and we have a good fun chat about it, right? So let's just kind of come down to, brass tacks here. My opinion about negativity, first of all, is that it doesn't actually matter. Here's why. Well, the first thing is we can have all this like anger over XYZ issues, but just understand long term, none of these things really matter. Because there's always another controversy. There's always something that we can argue over and something we can get mad about. And the other part of it is we also forget the last thing very, very quickly. So, and this is what they do. At least, if you whether you believe it or not, this is what's happening, right? Where, the tinfoil hat people will tell you, oh, they're making a new controversy so you can forget about the last one, right? But here's the reality. How many of you, before I even mentioned this, still remember Jumpstart 2020 and what a disaster it was that we didn't have enough supply and that, the thing went from $100 to $200 at release because there was just no boxes available. Do you remember this? I mean, most people are probably still thinking, oh, Jumpstart went to $80 last year when all the supply came to the market and nobody wanted to buy anymore and we're done with Jumpstart 2020, right? So that's what I mean. That negativity was there in the beginning, but long term or even short term, people didn't care about it. Of course, you went from Jumpstart 2020 to why is there a collector booster for core set, right? You remember that happened a month after. And then of course it was, what is this stupid set booster for Zendikar Rising? Oh, they're overprinting all this stuff already, right? So there was always every single set after set. Oh, Kaldheim, it's garbage collector's booster. It's going to go down to 150. Don't buy the thing. Oh, the set sucks. Everything sucks. I know there's Snowlands, but who cares? The artwork sucks, etc. And then you go to Strixhaven. Oh, it's supposed to be Ravnica, but I don't really care about the schools. Oh, you're gonna be Silverquill. This is so dumb. Right? If you think about it, all this stuff, did you remember the negativity? Did you remember it long term? Was it something that you cared about? And did it make any difference? The fact that we were angry didn't change anything. It didn't really change anything about the schedule of release by Wizards or how they're releasing the product, whether they're cutting back on the product line. None of that really actually mattered. Here's some of the recent ones you probably already forgot already, right? Baldur's Gate. Did you know if you're part of the first set of people who were lucky enough to get the English printed Baldur's Gate, by the way, it's not luck. You kind of got screwed. Especially if you're opening them in the pre-release kits, your cards weren't even cut correctly. I swear that the printers that were manufacturing Baldur's Gate in America, whichever printer they were using, the freaking blades weren't sharp enough. You had cards that were cut way bigger than they should be. They don't even fit in my perfect fit sleeves. It's insane. It's so stupid. And they were really, the cuts are so bad. A bunch of them were way off. It shifted up or down, left and right. Something you really don't see nowadays with modern cards. Most of the modern cards, the print is pretty good. It's not so error prone like the old school cards. But of course, then Baldur's Gate happens and that happens. Or the whole other stupid thing where apparently they would have set boosters. I don't know if this was happening with Draft, but set boosters where you either had 0 lands or you had 7. And it's oh, did you get a 0 land box? Well, too bad for you. Oh, you got a 7 rare land box? Great, right? It was stupid things like this. But here's the thing. We're all sitting here. None of us remember this. Who's actually thinking about this? Who actually told Wizards something about it and really made a difference? And now Wizards is going to, be better and not cause problems like this in the future, right? These things don't matter. Or how about this? A lot of you guys probably don't know, but for me, because I had to buy a bunch of these decks, did you know the Warhammer decks? A good chunk of them in America that were released to stores or whatnot, the Tyranid decks were prone to be printed as Portuguese. So you buy the full set, it says English on the box on the outside, but if you open it, the Tyranid decks from my inventory, 25% were Portuguese. That's insane, right? So they printed all these Portuguese decks and they shipped them out with all the English decks, and they're just everywhere. By the way, if you didn't know this, go check your decks. Make sure that if you bought 4, make sure that your Tyranid deck is not Portuguese, it's English, right? That matters, right? Or this other things about like, oh, found legends. By now, I think most people already kind of forgot about the whole found legends booster boxes, right? Of course, they had them in the storage. They didn't find them. They knew they were going to do something with it for the future. The only thing they found was they found out which set they're going to put them in, right? And how they're going to do it, right? Now we're dealing with 30th anniversary, the new controversy of the block, until of course the new one, a more interesting one, like what happened last week. Oh, they took down the reserve list or whatever. Migration of their website, guys, is not a real thing. So all these negativity, all these controversies, we can get rah negative about what's happening and get everyone excited about what's going on, but does it actually matter? It does not. Here's the thing, stop doing these things that don't matter, right? And the thing is, the crazy and really like negative thing is all the companies, they know this too. They abuse the shit out of this, right? Honestly, if they want to get you off back of like 30th anniversary, just make a new controversy. It's going to happen. That's how they get you off of one thing and onto the next thing. So they use and abuse this thing. So what's a good example? Do you remember Toyota with the whole like brake thing? This is pretty bad because people died because of this, right? Oh, the brakes weren't working. Well, it's a mat, it's whatever this. They try to do all the sorts of like, oh, it's something else, whatever. And the only time they actually took action against that negativity was because the lawsuits started happening and they were paying out more money to go fix the problem than to just do a mass recall and fix it altogether for everybody, right? And so this is the issue here, is that we have to, if you want your negativity to actually make meaningful change to something, you actually have to do it where it hurts the bottom line of the company. For example, 30th anniversary, if you don't buy the sets, that does hurt the bottom line and it will change behavior within Wizards. It will not change just because we yell at them about it or some creator that's huge talks about it. Like Tolarian is very against this thing and he's the largest creator. How much of what he has said has ever even made it to Wizards? Right, and made it change. Now, I think they hear him, they talk to him all the time, but they don't change because of him at all. I mean, basically, he's ignored, if anything. Yeah, and here's the thing. For big corporations and companies, it's all just a number. They don't care about you, they don't care about me. These things don't matter. It's how much money, what's the bottom line, what's the revenue, what's the profit, etc. These things do matter to them, right? So we have to speak with money. We can't speak with our anger on the internet. So yes, while it's really fun for me to make videos that talk shit about Wizards, it really doesn't do anything. Even if individual employees watch those videos, it's really not gonna evoke any change, right? And here's the thing, if we don't hit their bottom line, nothing will change. They're just gonna continue doing the same things they've been doing because this works. And most companies, they don't wanna change because that's not safe. See, safe is you do the same thing again because that thing is well known and we know it works before. So that's why they keep doing the things that are wrong or whatever, because for them, that's the safer bet. They don't want to change because what's the risk, right? Why risk anything? So what can we do about this, right? Besides not purchasing product. I think, first of all, like just one quick note on the purchasing the product. I think the thing that Blake said on that stream to say, buy whatever product you feel is right for you, I think it's probably the new message that every Magic player has to understand now. I think this has been kind of true for most players, but it's becoming, like you intellectually understand it, but it was hard to accept it. But I think at this point, because your wallet isn't big enough to go buy every single thing that they release, it probably will have to become where, you just buy whatever is meaningful or right for you. If you're, playing limited, sealed, whatever, buy draft boosters. If you're, collecting cards or just want more cards in general, buy set boosters. If you're collecting them for the chase rares, whatever, go for the collector booster, etc., right? If you're max box opening, you have different purposes for these things. Go buy the product that makes sense for you. If you like Universes Beyond, go buy Secret Layers and whatever, Warhammer decks, right? These things that give you joy. I think he's right on that. And we should do that, because if we're not doing that, then we're not telling them and giving them signals, the company, that, hey, whatever you're doing, shoving all these products down the throats of everybody else, it's not working, right? The other part of this too is, I think a lot of you don't know about Wizards RMA program. So today I'm going to use this video and tell you about it. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to use it. I want you and everybody who's here to hold Wizards accountable for whenever they do something wrong to you. This is very, very important, because this is how you show them that they're screwing up. So as an example, right? If you have product issues where something, card is bent or whatever, you should contact Wizards and make them make it right for you. So if you don't know how this works, Wizards actually has a pretty expensive RMA program that takes accountability for misprinted cards, miscut cards, any problems with specific cards, coloring, those kind of things too. Now, I don't know to what extent you can push this. Like, is this one of those things where it's like, oh, the foiling doesn't look right, you can RMA this thing? I'm not sure. But if for example, like a card is way bent and you can't even play it in tournaments, dude, I think you should go back to their program and tell them their foil sucks. In fact, everyone should do that. I mean, make it so, if they have to spend some time getting some rep to go handle your case, they're going to have to give you a shipping label to ship the card back. Then they have to find a replacement card for you. Then they have to ship it back to you. All this is extra cost. Think of this like a warranty program for cars or whatever. If at some point they realize the amount of money they're paying for warranty is higher than what they're basically gonna have to pay if they just get the cards printed correctly for the first time, I think they're gonna invoke some changes. Well, maybe the change is gonna be very negative, like they take the RMA program away, which would really suck. But until then, I think you should use the program. Why not? It's there for you. So as an example, if you have a Tyrannus deck that's Portuguese, send it back to Wizards. Make them send you 2 new decks that's English version, right? If you have cards that are bent or cut incorrectly, right, out of the pack, send that to Wizards. Open the case, and I know it takes time. I know it's like some effort on your side too. It may not be worth it for you, but please do the right thing. Send it to Wizards. Make them do the extra work and make it hurt for their bottom line. Because when we do this as a team, as a group, whatever, and they start seeing the problems out there, that's when they realize, oh, we screwed up on printing. Oh, we had a lot of like miscut cards, or, oh, hey, we really messed up shipping these, manufacturing and shipping these boxes. This is really, really important. The other thing, as far as I can tell, is, it's making sure that they're understanding and aware of a problem. And lastly, the whole program is actually pretty easy to use. From what I've experienced in my past, like by and large, it hasn't been very difficult to use the RMA program. In general, like they do a pretty good job of fixing it. In fact, I think the service level on the RMA program is very, very good. Maybe 2 or 3 questions back and forth after you open the initial ticket, and they usually give you like some way to send the card back or something like that. Or I think especially for singles, they just send you a replacement. They don't have you ship the cards back to them. So in those cases, you take a picture, you put like today's date or something with your name. You send a picture to them, so they just make sure it's not like somebody else's card, and it works pretty well. Yeah. But basically, this whole video is about how do we deal with negativity. I don't think we should be negative about something, but rather vote with your wallet, because that's the only thing these companies will really listen and care about. Anyways, this is Mark, Solar Games. I'm out. See ya.